Okay, hello again, grade 9s. Welcome to Linear Equations 12. And I think this might be the last assignment you might be getting from me this year. And it is a little bit more complex than the rest. It is the most, I think, challenging one because it does involve practicing and knowing and being versed again with lowest common denominators. But with that said, hopefully some of you still find this pretty easy, okay? So let's just jump right into some examples here. Let's try this one first. Y over 3 minus 5y over 6 equals 1/2. Pardon me, negative 1/2. Okay? So the goal for this linear equations is to get rid of these denominators under here. We don't want these 3, 6, and 2. And to get that, first of all, we need to know what the lowest common denominator is between 3, 6, and 2. And if you still don't remember it, to find lowest common denominator, LCD, you just count multiples of each of these denominators until you arrive at the same one. Yes? So in this case, I think the first one that we arrive at is actually 6. So there he is. So the lowest common denominator here for these three is 6. So what should we do with that lowest common denominator? Well, pay close attention to what I'm about to do, okay? Because this is a technique that might be new to all of you. We're going to take that lowest common denominator 6 and we're going to multiply this entire equation with it. Now pay attention very carefully here. What I'm going to do, again, our goal is to get rid of these numbers at the bottom, okay? And in math, if you didn't know, that you can actually do this with lowest common denominators. So what am I going to do? I'm going to take this 6 and I'm going to multiply it with this y over 3. I'm going to take this 6 and I'm going to multiply it with this 5y over 6. And I'm going to take this 6 and I'm going to multiply it with this negative 1/2 on the other side. Watch what happens in this next step, okay? So now our next step is going to look like this. 6 times y over 3 minus 6 times 5y over 6 equals 6 times negative 1/2. Well, if you're going to multiply everything by the same value, technically you're not changing anything about this equation. Okay? So what does this do? Well, really, this 6 actually will cancel or reduce with this 3 because 6 divided by 3 is 2. 6 divided by 6 here is just 1, so that disappears. And then 6 divided by 2 here is 3. And now what are you left with? 2 times y is 2y. 1 times 5y is 5y. And on this side, 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. I know, that looked really bizarre, but really, that's the technique on how to do this. It's very hard to solve this with those denominators at the bottom. So what we did is just multiplied everybody by that lowest common denominator, and that gets rid of the denominators at the bottom. And now, look, all we're left with is this. It's technically variables on both sides, but 2 minus 5 is negative 3y equals negative 3, and divide both sides by negative 3. So y equals positive 1. Okay? Now that's just your first example, so I might actually try to do about 4 examples of this, and if the video gets a little bit too long, I might actually have to separate the examples into 2 videos. So, okay, so, and now we actually have to do the check. And this is why it's going to take these instruction videos longer, because I actually have to do checks with these. Again, the original equation, not the new simplified equation that you found. Okay, so substitute the 1 in here, and you're going to get 1/3. Substitute the 1 in here, you're going to get 5 times 1 over 6 equals negative a half. So our goal is to actually try to get this side equal to negative 1/2. So it equals to negative 1/2 equals negative 1/2. Well, guess what? The other skill we're going to have to bring back here is subtracting fractions. Okay? And again, lowest common denominator will play a role here when we do this. So let's finish this check. 5 times 1 is 5. Okay. Does 1/3 minus 5/6 equal to 1/2? Well, don't take a shortcut. I need you to show me that you still remember or know how to do subtracting fractions. But to do the subtraction here, you need a common denominator between 3 and 6, which is going to be 6. So multiply both sides by 2. And so now you have 2 over 6 here, minus 5 over 6 here. Okay, so you can subtract the numerators now that you have common denominators. 2 minus 5 is negative 3 over 6. And it looks like we do have, after reducing this 3 over 6 to negative 1/2 equals negative 1/2. Be sure you show me all your steps because I do watch for those, okay? I need to see your steps. I need to see you, subtracting, using common denominators, subtracting fractions, okay? Ready for the next example? Here comes example number 2. Let's try x minus 2 over 2 minus x over 6 equals negative 2. Okay. Again, what is the lowest common denominator between 2 and 6? I think the lowest common denominator is 6. Again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that 6, and this time I'm just going to skip a little step here. I'm going to go 6 times x minus 2 over 2, like this, minus 6 times x over 6, like this, and then 6 times negative 2 on this side. So what does that do? That cancels out this 2 because 6 divided by 2 is 3. I cancel out this 6 with this 6, and on this side is just 6 times negative 2, which is going to be negative 12. So over here, now we're going to rewrite this. It's 3 times x minus 2 minus x, because 1 times x is just x, and over here is negative 12. Okay. Let's do the multiplication with this 3, because he is beside the bracket, so this is distributive property for this. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6 minus x equals negative 12. Okay, shuffle the like terms here. 3x minus x minus 6 equals negative 12. I'm taking my time here. So 3x minus x here is 2x minus 6 equals negative 12. I'm going to add 6 to both sides. And now we have 2x equals negative 6. Finally, divide both sides by 2. And I think I got x equals negative 3. Now that I have that answer, this is why we do the check part. Just to make sure that we actually did this correct. Let's rewrite the original equation. X minus 2 over 2 minus x over 6 equals negative 2. In other words, is all this on this side actually going to be equal to negative 2? Well, I hope so. Let's substitute our negative 3 where we see this x. So negative 3 minus 2 over here over 2 minus negative 3 in bracket over 6 over here. So negative 3 minus 2, that'll give me negative 5. Okay. minus negative, well, if we reduce this to, we can actually reduce this to negative 1/2 if we want to. Okay, and look, we do have common denominators here, even if we don't have to use denominator 6, because we can reduce this 3/6 to 1/2. Well, so it's negative 5 minus negative, so remember in integers minus a negative, what happens? It becomes a plus, all that over denominator 2, and negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4 over 2, and it looks like we have negative 2 equals negative 2. Again, don't try to take any shortcuts, please, because I am going to be watching you. If your math here in any of these checks are wrong, then I can't give you a mark, because in this case, this really is worth big marks now. Okay, I need to know that you're showing all this step. Okay. I think the video is getting a little long, so I think I'll cut it off here, and then I'll give you the second video for this, which would be linear equations 12 examples part 2.